And then
All the joy was sucked out of the room.
everybody's like, "Isn't it great?" And I was,
Everything turned black.
"Oh no!"
And then we were in a cabin in the woods.
And then,
Total isolation. Don't talk to anybody. No.
and you're deaf, and we'll put the
Yeah.
creature outside. Yeah.
Also,
Mhm.
yeah, wow. Yeah, unfortunately, I did not see the movie that way at all.
Hey, I'm Kit,
And I'm Cade,
and we're real people.
doing real reviews.
Welcome to Stories That Stick. We are continuing with season 3, and we are doing Cade's pick on his very favorite, most favorite movie.
Most favorite movie.
Finishing up our theme for this section before we do a recap on our season. We did Stories That Stick because we wanted to, as movie critics, to compare our films that we test everything against or that we critique against, because I think we all have those. And so these are our movies well, this one is our very favorite, and the way we picked our favorites along the way as well. Do you want to tell everybody what your favorite movie was?
Yes, Patch Adams.
So this movie,
Starring
What?
Robin Williams.
when you say Patch Adams, people are like, "Oh,
Oh, she's going in.
they
Okay.
just love this movie." So I was, and I
Well,
hadn't seen it.
yeah, can I tell him why I picked it first?
Yeah.
Okay. If you haven't seen this movie, it will be your favorite. Because
Hmm.
literally it has a good message. It's a feel-good movie. You laugh, you cry. You're kind of scared at some point. You're on this emotional roller coaster. There's so many funny scenes. Like, this movie will hold your attention,
There's
unless
also,
you're a kid.
there's also a love story.
Also a love story. I forgot my best part. Yeah.
Your favorite.
I love a good love story, so that's in the movie too. I could watch this movie all the time.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not all the time, but if I could never watch another movie ever again,
Yeah.
this would do it for me.
Yeah. It's like a
Because you could like,
chicken noodle soup for the soul type movie. That's how
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Everyone, and I think Robin Williams is such an incredible legend. And so I had never seen this movie. I was very eager to. I love Robin Williams. I love people's response when you say the title of this. I love Cade. I wanted to hear and see his favorite movie. So we watched it. And so do you want to tell people about the journey?
So basically this movie is about um an individual, Patch Adams, and he checks himself into a mental hospital.
Yeah.
Because he's not feeling well.
Mm-hmm.
Kudos to that. Kudos that the movie does start there, talks about that.
Men in mental health, very
Yeah.
good, strong start.
Strong start.
Yeah.
We are doing strong. She is still on board at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you where it goes off the rails here in a minute. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see if it's right when I say.
Okay.
She could have been hiding it.
All right.
And basically, his roommate in this mental hospital is afraid of squirrels, imaginary squirrels, and is so afraid that he won't go to the bathroom, and so he ends up like wetting himself, and so Patch basically pretends with him, like, but I guess basically plays into his reality of, you know, oh, there are squirrels. And so, like, he helps him. And that joy and that energy that he gets from that makes him want to help people. And so he wants to become a doctor. And in the midst of being in this mental hospital, there's another gentleman there. I forget. I should probably know.
He was a professor that
Yeah.
was like a very esteemed, well-known genius professor that is in this mental hospital. So it's kind of shocking to see him.
Seeing there. And he's constantly like, how many fingers do you see?
Yeah.
And then, of course, everybody's like, "Boar," and he's like, "Boar?" And, like, he runs off and shakes his head because that's obviously not the right answer.
Mhm.
And another scene in the mental hospital is, he's chit-chatting with him, and the professor has a leak in his cup,
Mhm.
and it's dripping everywhere on his papers, and so Patch Adams puts a sticker over his cup,
Mhm.
over the hole, and it stops, and the professor looks up and then gives him the actual knowledge of what the the answer to his question is you don't look directly at the problem, you look past the problem to
Mhm.
get the answer.
Yeah.
Which it then also leads into why um, Patch believes that, as a doctor, you have to treat the patient and
Mhm.
not the disease.
Yes.
It's kind of in the midst of that.
I wanna add to the mental hospital scene that I thought was really good, because the scenes where he is, like, playing into the psychosis,
Yeah.
it's very comedic. It's hard for me to watch. I'm like, "Okay, you're gonna play yeah, okay." But he's I get it. But then he's in the scene where he is chatting with the therapist, and he's telling him about why he's there and why he's checked in, and it's a therapist doctor, and this man is not listening to him, and he's writing notes, and he's half listening, and he's like, "Okay," and so Pesha starts saying ridiculous things, like, "And then I thought, like, I would do this," and the guy's just like, "Okay, well, we'll just talk about that next week," and he's not listening at all,
Yeah.
and it was part of the turning point where he's like, "This has to be better. I need help," and I'm sitting in front of this man, and I'm, putting this conversation together, and he does not care. And it's very obvious that he does not care what I'm saying, and that in the theme of the movie, great. And also noted. Um, his appro and he runs into this man after, which is really because he's like, I feel like if I look past the problem and I look at all of these scenarios and I'm learning something in this space and I'm feeling this great vibe off of this, I'm gonna pursue medicine.
Hmm.
Which to me, why didn't he pursue therapy, like being a therapist, but he felt being a medical doctor in this movie, because I
Yeah.
know that there's a different story with this because this is a real man, and, this isn't a biopic necessarily, but, like, this is a real man's depiction, and so instead of there which so right away, I was a little bit lost because I was like, "Well, I guess maybe at that time, therapy and medicine and mental hospital, it's all kind of muddled together." It wasn't like in our day where it's,
Two distinct.
you
Yep.
can do to there that still exists, but there's also you can get help along the way to
Yeah.
talk about your psychosis or whatever is happening. And so he chooses medicine because he felt like he could make
Yep.
the most impact, help the most people. Mhm.
Yeah. So, and in the midst, it's his first year of school, medical school. He gets in. His roommate's kind of tacky and mean to him.
Mhm.
And then he goes into a big lecture hall,
Mhm.
and basically the professor or the villain in this movie
Mhm.
is basically like showboating and saying,
Mhm.
I'm the best, we're the best. The way we've always been doing things is pristine and privilege, and
Mhm.
you know, this is the way it's been done for so long.
Mhm.
Welcome to the team if you can make it
Mhm.
and survive.
Yeah.
And Patch obviously is the opposite of that. He's like, "Well, why do we have to do that way?" And, throughout the movie, he constantly challenges people and he's like, continue to be curious and ask questions. And just because somebody tells you this is
Mhm.
the way it's done doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be done that way. Doesn't mean it's the only way.
Mhm.
Doesn't mean that it's the right way through that portion. And so as any kind of school kind of thing, he makes some friends. There's this girl he's
Mhm.
interested in. She has nothing to do with him. And
Mhm.
then that's where we lose Kit in the midst of this, is because Patch is pursuing this girl. She says no. He continues. It's very sweet in my perspective.
Mhm.
Um, and like he basically flirts with her, doesn't take no for an answer, helps studying with her, does a really cute thing for her birthday, a bunch of balloons in their room. They run out. He, at this point, obviously they are interested ish in each other.
Mhm.
She's finally kind of given into that. And he starts reading her this love poem. And he's like, oh, we'll finish later, kind of
Mhm.
thing. And he puts it away. And then they see a need at the hospital. Also, another point in this portion of the movie, there's a kid's room in the hospital, and he goes in and he basically makes all these kids laugh because he says, laughter is a form of medicine.
Mhm.
Kit doesn't like this either. She'll tell you why here in a minute. Just gonna add them all together so she can just get it out of the way.
Mm.
Um, and then after this scene, like obviously he he tries or works with like this patient that's dying and it's really mean and nobody can like handle him or whatever.
Mhm.
And he goes in and tries and he's like rubbing his feet and singing Blue Skies. And then the guy just basically gets mad at him and he has to run out.
Mhm.
She doesn't like that scene either. Okay, go. Go, Kit. Tag to you. Tell us why.
Um, I think so. I because I know Cade, so I understand like the, pursuing love, like and that feeling of being pursued and how that can be a very beautiful romantic thing. The thing about this gentleman is that the reason why he had checked himself into hospital is because he had pursued multiple careers and he couldn't find joy. And so he is not depicted as similar age. And he's depicted as an established man. His first interaction with this girl is that he's like, "Oh, hey," and she whips around and she's like, "I'm a lesbian, I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm a this, I'm a narcissist, I'm a whatever I need to say for you to not talk to me and discuss me because I am here because I want to be a doctor. Did you look around this room? There is 3 or 4 girls. I'm one of them. I'm here to study. I'm here to be a doctor. I like the sterile conversation. I don't want to hear your thoughts on that what if we just care about the client more conversation. Like, no, it's a no, it's a no. Leave me alone. And leaves. And he's just like, that's the one for me. And I'm like, hey, she said no, man. And so I'm not liking their interaction. Then she's ending up in these study halls, but he's winning everyone over because he's like, kindness is the way, connecting with people is the way, making people laugh is the way. I want to challenge the bedside manner at hospitals. But he doesn't really say it that way. He says it like, I think that we should be looking at people as the whole person. Which is true, but you also need to study and learn and get all of the things that they are teaching at this school and why people are at this school. He doesn't have to study that much. He really is a genius. That's why he respected this like very, well-known professor that he saw at the mental hospital because he knew who he was. He can learn something, hear it once, it stays in his mind. Where other people were frustrated with him because they were like, we don't have time to goof around and learn all the bedside manner stuff because we have to learn this other way. It doesn't land. Um,
See, I would disagree with that point. I don't think he was a genius. I think he was doing that and studying hard.
he at no point do they show him studying. And they
Well, I
talk
mean, like
about
in the movie, for
but
sure.
they talk about how he, like, excelled at all of his other careers too. That's where I thought it could have
Maybe.
just been photogenic memory or it could have been that plus he had charisma, which is, like, a good balance, but I think that he had an element of
Okay,
genius, yeah. Um,
continue.
yeah, and so, when they are forced into, like, these study groups or she's, like, in these scenarios with him. And she's continuing to be like, "I don't have time for this crazy man." I'm thinking about myself in scenarios like that when I really needed to learn something or study, or I was part of a group because I needed support from my peers because I was trying to learn something, and then I had somebody across me being like, "What if we're just really nice to them?" Then I'd be like, I don't know what to say to this person. Obviously, if you wanna do bedside manner, that's a choice. Go do that choice. But forcing your choice on me while I'm trying to learn content, I don't I don't like that. His, like, romantic interest with her and the way that he pursues her, I think it's genuine that he does have these love feelings. I love the poem. Like, I think that he was trying to be like, "Hey, there's good in the world." And, uh, and we're not at that point where, like, we later find out. But, like, I'm not enjoying the interactions where I can tell because we watched this with some of our friends because they were like, "It's Patch Adams," that they were like they were loving it. And I was like, recoiled. I was like, nobody's seeing that this is a little manipulative and bizarre, and he's trying to use even, like, the relationships that are around him towards it. Okay. And then with the so we talked about that, and then, yeah, when he goes into the hospital and they're like, "Hey, you're an intern. This is what you're allowed to do. This is what you're not allowed to do." He's like, "Nah, it'll be okay for me because I'm gonna go in and be a clown and wear bedpans on my feet and put this, like, rubber thing on my nose, and I'm gonna make everybody laugh." Now, when there are clowns that go to hospitals and they have their scheduled time and it's in between all the things and they help kids, is that awesome? Yes. Do I see the point in this, like, subject? Yes. Was that part of, like, the medical system at the time? No. So, there I thought it was great. But what was strange to me is that he's not accounted for. Why is he in the room with children? Like, the nurses are like, "Oh, I guess I'll just keep an eye on it because 'cause I'm not sure what to do with this intern," but they're not allowed to be in there. It's like he hasn't checked all it's a room full of kids, which I don't know if that's real, right? Like, so again, from, like, a standpoint where I'm like, if there's a room full of kids and they're all, like, on their deathbed, right? Like, that's how it's like it's not good. Everybody's kind of it's bad. He's trying to be like, bring them a little joy. If you look at it from the aspect of, like, they're trying to bring a little joy, like, these poor kids have been poked and prodded and, like, half talked to, like, these awful doctors, and he wants them to have a different perspective of a doctor. Great. But if I think about it as somebody who's just observing it, I'm like, "What is he doing?" He doesn't know if that's their 1 hour that they typically sleep when they don't have pain in a day. He doesn't know this, he doesn't know that, and I was like, he's just forcing himself in there to be like, "Oh, I'm funny." And it didn't land with me, and then when he was like they were like, "Oh, that man" the nurses are complaining. So the nurses who know this person's chart, who know it's like, "There's this man who's so mean, and nobody can get to him." And he's, like, going in, and his first thought is to rub this person's physically touch them. And so he hasn't won him over, he hasn't talked to him, he's, like, rubbing his feet and singing. If I woke up and I was terminally ill and somebody was singing to me and rubbing my feet, I would call the police, like, I would lose my mind, like, that's ridiculous, and so, to me, I was like, I didn't think I did not see the thing, but again, if you look at it from a popcorn standpoint of like, "Oh, look, he's trying to win over this guy." He didn't that time, but he'll get it next time 'cause it's Robin Williams. It'll be okay. It wasn't I didn't get it. So that's what happened so far.
Yes.
Mhm. And then
All the joy was sucked out of the room.
everybody's like, "Isn't it great?" And I was,
Everything turned black.
"Oh, no."
And then we were in a cabin in the woods.
And then
Total isolation. Don't talk to anybody. No.
and you're deaf, and we'll put the
Yeah.
creature outside. Yeah.
Also,
Mhm.
yeah, wow. Yeah, unfortunately, I did not see the movie that way at all in the amount of times that I've seen the movie,
Nor did anybody else in that room.
nor did anybody else. Nor do I think
Many people will.
many people will. So it was definitely a new take on the movie.
Look at that.
Yeah,
Fresh
which
mix of cake.
even like because we discussed it
Mhm.
right after the movie,
Mhm.
but even just hearing it now, it's like so like
Oh,
gutting. She's just gutting me all over again.
it's so
Also, who hurt you? Don't answer that. But like, yeah, I was like, God, girl, wow.
what's
Uh,
hard, I think, too, is that I am of the same mindset of, like, that medical bedside manner is horrendous and needs to
yeah,
change for better health. So, again, I was excited about that line of dialogue,
yeah,
but the way that it was depicted, I didn't think.
for sure. I think maybe, and we've discussed that too. Maybe the story could have been tweaked slightly, which
Mhm.
then would have changed that perspective, and also the story slightly make more sense
Mm.
because it is kind of like
Lighter version. It's a
light,
comedic
yeah,
version. Yeah.
a lighter version.
Mhm.
Which also the original Patch Adams,
Mhm.
while he was happy that Robin Williams depicted himself, he said it was too silly and that he wished they would have approached it more from a holistic medicine standpoint,
Which would have landed with me. Yeah.
which would have landed with Kit.
Mhm.
So at this point, obviously they back to the movie.
Mhm.
That yeah, here we are. Um, he decides to open a institute called Gesundheit,
Yeah.
which is still in operation today,
Yeah.
to give free healthcare to anyone that wants to come to it. And basically, the concept in the movie, I'm not sure if it is in real life because I didn't look too much into it, but
Yeah, they
is
took the
that
overflow from the free clinics.
yeah,
Yeah.
but where, like, patients can be doctors and doctors can be patients as well, like, everyone helps out,
Mhm.
kind of in this kind of ecosystem at the Gesundheit Institute,
Mhm.
which turns out to be a cabin from the professor,
The genius
the
professor.
genius professor,
Mhm.
in the mental hospital allowed them to operate this
Mm.
in there. Coming around, there was a patient. He's kind of creepy. He's been in and out of the emergency room,
Mhm.
and everyone kind of, even as watching it from an audience perspective, you kind of get uneasy around him, and
Mhm.
they depict it in a way that you just don't trust him.
Yeah, the acting is
Yeah,
you are like,
really good.
there is something dangerous about him. He should be in the mental hospital for something. It is not.
Something's wrong. It's not what he's saying's wrong, but
Mhm.
we don't know.
Mhm.
So, anyways, obviously, up until this point, he's Patch Adams is very hard on everyone to like ask the questions, treat them as a person. So, um, this guy leaves a message on the phone saying he's not doing well and needs someone to come check on him. So the girl goes over to this guy's place, which turns out to be this mansion of a place that's kind of creepy in itself, like kind of cabin or castle Dracula kind of like
Yeah, like
style.
inherited from like old money
Yeah.
8 years ago, like or 8
I think the guy's
centuries.
even playing the piano
He
when
is.
he's
Yeah.
when she comes in.
Mhm.
And basically the scene, like, it's kind of a creepy interaction. He asks to take her coat, and then it kind of, like, cuts away from that, and it turns out that he killed her and himself
Mhm.
in the midst of that, and Robin Williams' uh, Patch is super heartbroken from that standpoint because he feels guilty.
Mhm.
My interpretation of it. He
Mhm.
feels guilty that, obviously this is something that happened.
Mhm.
Um
Not that he encouraged house calls. He didn't
No.
encourage house calls. He wasn't like, "Go by yourself places to help people."
Right.
He wasn't saying that. But he had really won her over to the idea of helping
Helping people.
others and
Yeah.
seeing people for what they are, and when she had mentioned that she thought this guy was off, he was like, "Everybody's off. I'm off. You're off." And he
Yeah.
didn't see the same thing. Mhm.
See the same thing. So that's really a struggle, and at the same point, the dean of the school is fighting with him as well. They put him through a lawsuit because obviously they find out that he's treating patients without a license.
Mhm.
So then he has to go to court, and you know, in the midst of that, at the funeral, he's not at the funeral, but afterwards, he reads the last of that poem,
Mhm.
which I think also hits different if you think about, um, those words. And I should have wrote them down beforehand so we could tell people. But I think it is definitely a different meaning when you read them to somebody that's still alive and then reading them to somebody that's passed away. I was like, oh, that hits different,
Yeah.
um, to me. I'm gonna say that. Um,
I love that. It's the poem starts out with I love you straightforwardly.
yeah,
And
without knowing when, where, or why,
or how.
or how. Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah, it's just it's
it's
beautiful.
good. Yeah.
Mhm.
Anyways, look it up. It's actually one of our favorites. We should be able to quote that.
Mhm.
Shame that we can't. Putting us on the spot. Anyways, so he's in this courtroom and, they ask him if there's any kind of final um words he has to say. And he's basically stands up and he says, be curious, challenge the norm, don't let them burn out your light, be who you are, do what you want to do. And he sits down and then they open the back doors and all of these patients that he kind of made an impact on
Mhm.
come in with their families and then they put the red noses on their face.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like this cool moment that then the board basically deems that he did nothing, while unorthodox, he
Mhm.
did nothing wrong in that kind of spot. And
Mhm.
it was still up to him to like pass and to get his grades.
Which knowing the, like, actual story that you'd looked up with Patch, I'm like, if he opened up, like, a cabin, like, a house where people could live and, like, help each other, like, that's you know it's like a hop, skip, and a jump to like a commune. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
oh, we're just gonna help each other and teach each other stuff that we know, like that isn't medical practice. Like they had a few things to like help with like a sling or a sprain or a scrape or a conversation. Like it's more of a wellness center, so
Yeah.
makes sense to me. Um, so yeah, and then when he does his speech at the end and he's talking about like I have to practice medicine, like I am called to practice medicine, and he's pleading with them because he had almost he was so depressed he wanted to end his life, right? So he had gone to space and he's like I want to impact the space. I thought that was really well done.
What'd you rate it?
We're skipping over a key scene too.
Which scene?
So
What scene did
it's
we there's so many the noodles?
oh yeah,
Trust me, my all-time one of my what are those called? Life goals?
life goals, yeah, bucket list.
Bucket list items is depicted from the noodle scene. Anyways, I digress. We'll talk about that later and maybe the recap.
Okay. So as he's starting to win over this love interest, and they have started at the Gesundheit Institute, they have like a little flirt. They exchange a little flirt, and they're sitting on the front porch, and he's like, "What are we? Like, what
Mhm.
are we?" And she's like, Patch, and she explains that she had been, molested basically her entire life by older men, and she's like, "Men have always liked the way that I look." Always, Patch, always. And he's like, "Oh, I see." And it's very sad, and then the scene after is that she, is feeling, like won over, and she goes to this person's house to get murdered. And in that scene,
I'm
I'm
laughing at her
my
her memory of these thoughts
this is
because
how
I like passed over that. I'm
you're
like,
like,
oh, that
"Oh,
was a
right."
big scene for me.
I'm like,
Mm.
she is like, "Why?" Because why, after doing the balloon thing, everybody loving this person, is she still whatever? And she's like, you know, and shows her resilience and her mental toughness of being one of these only women doctors and those types of things. But she is sitting there, and I'm like, and I'm so like looking at this moment, and I'm like, he's much older, and she's saying, dude, not only have I, am I here to take myself seriously, and I'm learning like the things that you're seeing, and I see that, but like I have been like abused by men like that are older than me my entire life, and he's like, and that's it. That's all he does.
Well, I rated this movie a 9 because I loved it. A 9.5.
But yeah.
9.5. See? I just listening to her, I knocked it down a half a score. Um, yeah, I did not get that at all. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think
Just
many
really,
people did.
it really impacted you negatively,
I thought
and
that
it reflected in your score.
it did.
What did you score this movie?
I also gave it a 5,
True.
mostly because I like you. I think that the filmmakers missed the mark, to be honest. I think that a lot of the themes that were in here were really solid feel-good themes, and I think that a lot of the, like, pieces that they used to try to depict those themes were really good, but I think that the way that it got cut and edited, and potentially that there could have been scenes that they didn't realize how much him running after her, or like, "I'm gonna go out check on her, I'm gonna,"
Mm.
that it was every time. I don't think maybe they noticed, like, that it's
Well, I also think that
mhm.
the time lapse period was too long, so then it was like a popcorn scenes of trying to fit a story together based on
Mhm.
2 or 3 days here,
Yeah.
a week here. You know what I mean? Lapse in time,
Yeah.
where I think if it was a shorter time period,
Mhm.
that I think that it would have been easier to tell that story. Because I do agree with you in
Mhm.
your interpretation of the film.
The love interest didn't
It's creepy
it's
from
a
your
little
standpoint,
dis
yes.
it's a bit disjointed.
This is why you like genre movies.
I do. If he
Yes.
had actually been a secret murderer,
Love it.
amazing. But he wasn't. He was actually trying to
Yeah.
be a doctor and
He
help
was trying
people,
to help the kids.
but he was, like,
Right.
leaning the other way.
Who would have went the other way, she would have been, like, best
I've been like,
believer.
"Oh, I get it. He's trying to seem like he's
Alright.
nice." But yeah, it didn't so that but I don't yeah,
Yeah,
I
we're
think
cutting you off. That's the end.
that's a no. It's a 5. It's a 5. I am open to watching it again, but I think that I don't look at movies maybe as lighthearted, and
Yeah.
which is why I don't typically like comedy or typically like
Interesting.
romantic comedy or typically like romance because it is meant to be watched lighter. It's meant to be watched with a lens where you're like, it's not that serious. And I think that Patch Adams came in, but we watched Life of Pi, which I just told you. And then we brought this in, and I'm like, what is wrong with this man? Get him out of the mental hospital and into the
Okay, we
scene.
get it.
Listen,
I look at life through
you're
rose-colored glasses all the time, so, like,
you're
this
looking
is great.
You're looking for the light,
Yeah.
and I think, which is I appreciate that about you and our friendship. I just maybe didn't appreciate it in the film. So it's a 5. The acting was solid though. Like Robin,
Yeah.
like he is who he is, but I also thought she was really well done. I thought the main character, that or the roommate character was really good. I thought that the way that there was some of the storyline landed, I just thought the rest was it was meant to be silly, and so because it was meant to be silly, but it was a serious context, muddled. For me personally.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you are watching on a broadcast channel, you can stay tuned. We are about to do our recap of our favorite films from the beginning to end of season 3. And if you're on podcast, you can find us on Apple and Spotify. You can find us on social media as well.
At Cade and Cat. Bye, guys.